First Contact's Price. Commander Maya Chen stood at the viewport of the orbital defense station Aegis 1, her weathered face reflecting off the reinforced glass as she watched Earth's last civilian ships disappear into the quantum corridor. The evacuation had taken weeks, but they'd managed to get most of the coastal populations to the inland shelters. It wasn't the first contact humanity had dreamed of. The Meridian Empire's initial transmission had been simple: surrender or die. That was 6 months ago, and humanity's response had been equally straightforward: silence. Not out of fear or indecision, but because Operation Shadow Shield was already in motion, years before the Meridians even arrived. Status report. Maya called out, her voice steady despite the weight of what was coming. All defensive grids are operating at minimal power, Commander. Lieutenant Raj Patel responded from his station. Keeping up appearances, just as planned. Maya allowed herself a slight smile. For 3 years, Earth had maintained the facade of a primitive civilization barely capable of interstellar travel. Every satellite, every station, every ship that allowed the Meridians to scan had been carefully crafted to appear generations behind their actual capabilities. The real fleet lay dormant, hidden in the shadow of Saturn's rings, powered down to avoid detection. The phase shift technology they'd developed after discovering the ancient ruins on Mars had given humanity an edge the Meridians couldn't possibly suspect. While the Empire's scouts reported finding a civilization struggling with basic fusion drives, Earth scientists had cracked the code of quantum entangled propulsion and metamaterial cloaking. Message from Special Projects. Sarah Wong, Maya's second-in-command, announced, "Project Lazarus is ready for deployment." Maya nodded, remembering the day they'd found the ruins. She'd been a junior officer then, part of the first team to step into the massive underground complex. What they'd discovered had changed everything. Not just technology, but humanity's understanding of its place in the galaxy. The Meridians weren't the first empire to threaten Earth, and the ruins were proof that such empires could fall. Multiple quantum signatures detected, Raj reported, his voice tightening. The Meridian fleet is arriving. The space above Earth shimmered as hundreds of Meridian warships dropped out of quantum space. Their sleek, crystalline hulls caught the sunlight, creating an eerily beautiful display of power. The main command ship alone was larger than anything humanity had ever publicly built. "They're broadcasting, Commander," Sarah said. "Same message as before." Maya straightened her uniform. "Put it through." A holographic image materialized in the center of the command center. High Admiral Vexthor of the Meridian Empire stood tall, his iridescent scales gleaming under his ceremonial armor. "This is your final warning, humans. Your primitive defenses cannot hope to stand against the might of the Meridian Empire. Surrender now, and your species will be permitted to serve as a protectorate." Maya stepped forward, making sure to appear appropriately awed and frightened. "This is Commander Chen of Earth's Defense Force. We request time to confer with our leaders." Vexthor's mandibles clicked in what passed for a smile among his species. "You have 1 planetary rotation. Choose wisely." The transmission cut off. "Really laying it on thick, weren't you?" Sarah commented with a smirk. "Had to make it believable." Maya replied, her face hardening. "Initiate Phase 1. Let's show them our primitive response." Throughout the solar system, carefully hidden quantum beacons activated. The signal would take 4 hours to reach the fleet at Saturn, giving them just enough time to power up and move into position. Earth's apparent defenselessness had been carefully orchestrated for this moment. "Commander," Raj called out, "we're detecting energy builds up in their weapon systems. They're not waiting for their deadline." Maya wasn't surprised. The Meridians had a reputation for false promises. Perfect. They're following the exact pattern intelligence predicted. Begin power-up sequence for the planetary shield grid. The next few hours were a carefully choreographed dance of seeming panic and incompetence. Earth's visible defenses responded slowly, appearing to struggle with even basic coordination. The Meridian fleet moved closer, their confidence growing with each passing minute. Fleet Command confirms all ships are powered and in position, Sarah reported quietly. Project Lazarus satellites are online but dormant. Maya checked the time. 3 minutes until the Meridian's weapon systems would be fully charged. 2 minutes until Earth's real defenses would be ready. The timing had to be perfect. Message from High Admiral Vexthor, Raj announced. They're demanding immediate surrender. They say they've detected our power-up sequence and are threatening to open fire. Send no response, Maya ordered. Continue monitoring their targeting systems. The massive Meridian command ship moved into position, its weapon ports glowing with gathered energy. Behind it, the rest of the fleet spread out in a standard conquest formation, exactly as the tactical simulations had predicted they would. Energy spike, Raj shouted. They're firing. Maya's voice was ice-cold as she gave the order they'd spent years preparing for. Execute Operation Shadow Shield. Show them what humanity can really do. The real war for Earth's survival was about to begin, and the Meridians were about to learn that appearances could be deceiving. Silent thunder. The Meridian energy weapons lashed out across space, a barrage of destructive force that should have annihilated Earth's meager defenses in seconds. Instead, the beams hit something invisible. Space itself seemed to ripple and bend, the energy dispersing harmlessly across an unseen barrier. High Admiral Vexthor's confusion was evident even through the holographic transmission. Impossible. Our scans showed no defensive capabilities of this magnitude. Maya didn't bother responding. Instead, she gave a subtle nod to Sarah. Throughout the solar system, quantum signals raced through hidden relays. In the shadows of Saturn's rings, Earth's true fleet stirred to life. Project Lazarus satellites are powering up, Raj reported, his fingers dancing across his console. Phase shift signatures stable. They won't detect them until it's too late. The Meridian fleet's second volley was already on its way when the real show began. Hundreds of seemingly empty points in space suddenly blazed with energy as Earth's hidden defense grid activated. The phase shift technology, reversed engineered from the Martian ruins, didn't just bend light, it bent reality itself. Multiple quantum signatures detected from the Meridian fleet, Sarah announced. They're calling for reinforcements. Maya allowed herself a grim smile. Right on schedule. Deploy the Ghost Fleet. From their hiding place in Saturn's rings, Earth's warships emerge. Unlike the crude vessels the Meridians had observed, these ships were masterpieces of human engineering merged with ancient technology. Their hulls, constructed of quantum-aligned metamaterials, rippled like liquid metal in the starlight. Ghost Fleet reporting ready, Raj confirmed. Phase drives synchronized, waiting for your command. Maya took a deep breath. This was the moment that would determine whether 3 years of deception and preparation would pay off. Execute phase shift jump. Target pattern alpha. The Ghost Fleet vanished, not through traditional cloaking technology, but by shifting partially out of normal space-time. When they reappeared, they were interspersed throughout the Meridian formation, in positions that should have been impossible to reach. By the First Empire, Vexthor's voice crackled through the comm. What are you? We are humanity. Maya replied, her voice level. And you should have looked closer at our primitive civilization. The Ghost Fleet opened fire, but instead of conventional weapons, they unleashed concentrated bursts of quantum-entangled particles, technology that Earth had kept hidden during years of apparent technological stagnation. The Meridian ship shields, designed to stop energy and kinetic weapons, proved useless against attacks that seemed to originate inside their own defensive barriers. Multiple Meridian vessels reporting critical system failures, Sarah reported, trying to keep the excitement from her voice. Their quantum communications are being disrupted. The Meridian fleet's formation began to break apart as ships lost power or spun out of control. Their return fire was fierce but uncoordinated, most of it passing harmlessly through the phase-shifted Earth vessels. Commander, Raj called out suddenly, detecting massive quantum distortions from the Meridian command ship. Energy readings are off the charts. Maya's eyes narrowed. They're deploying their elite forces sooner than expected. All ships, prepare for phase shift level 2. This is what we've trained for. The Meridian command ship's hull began to glow with an otherworldly light. Sections of it seemed to fold in on themselves, revealing weapon systems far more advanced than anything they'd shown so far. They've been holding back too, Sarah observed grimly. Of course they have, Maya replied. You don't build an empire by showing all your cards at once. Activate Project Lazarus's secondary protocols. Let's show them we still have a few surprises of our own. The hidden satellites around Earth began to pulse with a strange rhythmic energy. It wasn't a weapon in the traditional sense. It was something far more sophisticated. The Martian ruins hadn't just given humanity advanced technology. They'd provided insight into the fundamental forces that held reality together. Project Lazarus is fully operational, Raj confirmed. Quantum field stabilized. The space around Earth began to change. The Meridian's advanced weapons fired, but their energy seemed to twist and distort before reaching their targets. It was as if they were trying to fight in a reality that no longer fully accepted their presence. Their quantum signatures are destabilizing, Sarah reported. The command ship is attempting to compensate, but she never finished her sentence. A massive energy surge erupted from the Meridian command ship, cutting through the quantum interference like a blade through fog. Maya's tactical display lit up with warnings as the surge approached Earth's defenses. All ships, execute Emergency Protocol Omega, Maya ordered, her voice steady despite the situation. Show them why you don't underestimate humanity. As the energy surge raced toward Earth, the Ghost Fleet moved in perfect synchronization. What happened next would change the course of the battle, and perhaps the fate of humanity itself. The Reckoning. The Meridian energy surge crashed against Earth's quantum-shifted defenses like a tsunami hitting an invisible shore. But instead of breaking through, it encountered something unprecedented, a defense system that adapted and evolved in real time. Project Lazarus entering final stage, Raj announced, his voice tight with concentration. Quantum field synchronization at 97%. The Ghost Fleet moved with impossible precision, each ship's phase shift drive creating ripples in spacetime that intersected and amplified each other. It was a defense protocol that had taken years to perfect, a symphony of quantum mechanics that turned space itself into humanity's shield. Their surge is being contained, Sarah reported, but the Meridian command ship is reconfiguring. Those energy readings, they're like nothing we've seen before. Maya watched as the massive command ship's crystalline structure began to fragment and reassemble. They're not just reconfiguring, she realized. They're revealing their true form. The Meridian vessel split apart, its segments reorganizing into something that defied conventional geometry. What emerged looked less like a starship and more like a living constellation, a web of interconnected energy nodes that pulsed with power. By all the stars, Raj whispered, how do we fight something like that? Maya's expression remained determined. The same way humanity has always fought superior forces, with intelligence, adaptation, and the willingness to do the impossible. Execute Protocol Prometheus. Throughout the Ghost Fleet, secondary systems that had lain dormant began to activate. The Martian ruins hadn't just given humanity advanced technology. They'd provided a warning about the Meridians and others like them. And more importantly, they'd shown how such powers could be countered. Protocol Prometheus active, Sarah confirmed. Quantum resonance patterns aligned. The space around Earth's fleet began to change. The phase shift technology wasn't just bending reality anymore. It was rewriting the local laws of physics themselves. Each ship became a focal point for a new kind of spacetime, one where the Meridian's advanced weapons couldn't function as designed. High Admiral Vexthor's voice crackled through the command center, but this time it held a note of uncertainty. What have you done? This defies all known laws of physics. No, Maya replied calmly. It defies your understanding of physics. Humanity has spent generations being underestimated, watching, learning, and preparing. Now you'll see why. The Ghost Fleet began to move in complex patterns, each ship's quantum field interacting with the others to create a cascading effect. The Meridian command ship's energy weapons fired again, but this time the beams curved and twisted, caught in the quantum turbulence. Their weapon systems are becoming unstable, Raj reported. The quantum interference is forcing them to draw more power than their containment fields can handle. Maya nodded, just as the simulations predicted. Begin Phase 3. The Project Lazarus satellites pulsed in unison, creating a quantum resonance that amplified the Ghost Fleet's effect. The space around the Meridian command ship began to warp and distort, its advanced technology fighting against laws of physics that no longer fully applied. Multiple Meridian support ships losing quantum cohesion, Sarah announced. They're being forced to revert to conventional space or risk total structural failure. But the command ship held firm, its constellation-like form adapting to the changing conditions. Energy began to gather at its core, building to levels that threatened to overwhelm even Earth's enhanced defenses. They're preparing something big, Raj warned. Energy readings are exceeding our theoretical maximums. Maya's eyes narrowed as she studied the tactical display. The Meridians weren't just fighting back. They were adapting, learning, evolving their tactics in real time. This was why they had built their empire, why they had conquered so many worlds. But humanity had one final card to play. All ships prepare for synchronized quantum collapse, Maya ordered. Project Lazarus, initiate endgame protocol. Sarah turned to her, eyes wide. Commander, that protocol hasn't been fully tested. The simulation showed a 40% chance of catastrophic failure and a 60% chance of success, Maya replied. Those are better odds than humanity has had in most of its victories. Sometimes you have to roll the hard 6. As the Meridian command ship prepared to unleash its full power, Earth's defenders made ready for a gambit that would either save their world or tear reality apart in the attempt. The true test of humanity's resolve was about to begin. Breaking point. Time seemed to slow as the Meridian command ship's energy reached critical mass. The transformed vessel now resembled a miniature sun, its quantum web structure pulsing with enough power to shatter planets. But humanity was ready to match impossible with impossible. Endgame protocol initiating, Raj announced, his voice steady despite the sweat on his brow. Quantum collapse sequence synchronized across all Ghost Fleet vessels. Maya watched as the tactical display showed their ships moving into final position. The maneuver they were attempting had never been tried outside of simulations, a synchronized quantum collapse that would turn the Meridian's own power against them. Project Lazarus satellites at maximum output, Sarah reported. Quantum field integrity at 115%, exceeding design parameters. The space between the two fleets began to twist and distort as multiple quantum fields intersected. Reality itself seemed to protest as fundamental forces were bent and reshaped by technology never meant to exist. The Martian ruins had warned of this moment, when humanity would have to choose between safety and survival. High Admiral Vexthor's voice cut through the chaos, but now it carried an edge of desperation. Stop this madness. You don't understand the forces you're playing with. Your species is too young for such power. Young doesn't mean unprepared, Maya responded, her eyes fixed on the energy readings. Humanity has spent its entire history learning to punch above its weight. Execute quantum collapse on my mark. The Meridian command ship's transformation completed, its structure now resembling a fractal pattern of pure energy. The remaining support ships moved into defensive positions, their own forms beginning to shift and change in response to the quantum turbulence. Commander, Raj called out urgently, detecting massive power fluctuations in their core. Whatever they're planning, it's going to happen soon. Maya nodded grimly. All ships prepare for simultaneous phase shift. Project Lazarus, stand by for full-spectrum quantum disruption. The Ghost Fleet's formations tightened, each vessel's quantum field harmonizing with its neighbors. The technology it were using wasn't just advanced, it was revolutionary, combining humanity's innovation with the ancient knowledge they'd discovered. Meridian energy surge detected. Sarah's voice cut through the tension. They're firing. The command ship unleashed its power, a beam of pure quantum energy that seemed to ignore the normal rules of physics. But this was exactly what Maya had been waiting for. Now, she ordered, execute quantum collapse. The Ghost Fleet activated their phase shift drives in perfect synchronization, creating a cascading wave of quantum distortions. At the same time, the Project Lazarus satellites pulsed with energy, their fields intersecting with the collapsed quantum space. What happened next defied conventional explanation. The Meridian's energy beam, instead of destroying Earth's defenses, found itself caught in a web of collapsed quantum fields. Space itself seemed to fold and unfold, trapping the energy in an endless loop. Quantum containment holding, Raj reported, though his console was flashing with warnings. But the system's stress is unprecedented. We can't maintain this for long. Maya watched as the tactical display showed the effects of their gambit. The Meridian command ship's energy was being reflected back on itself, caught in the quantum trap they'd created. But the strain on their systems was enormous. Multiple Ghost Fleet vessels reporting critical system failures, Sarah announced. Phase shift drives are overloading. The space around both fleets had become a maelstrom of quantum energy. Reality itself seemed to flicker and warp as two impossible technologies fought for dominance. The Meridian command ship's structure began to show signs of stress, its perfect fractal pattern developing distortions. This is your final warning. Vex Thor's voice crackled through the chaos. Disengage now, or we will be forced to release our full power. Not even your quantum tricks can survive that. Mina's response was cut short by a sudden alarm. The tactical display flashed red as new energy signatures appeared at the edge of the solar system. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Raj called out, "Massive fleet incoming. It's the Meridian Elite Guard." The tactical situation had just gone from desperate to nearly impossible. But Maya's expression showed no fear, only determination. They had planned for this too, though the cost would be higher than anyone had imagined. "Begin emergency protocol Omega," she ordered. "And may whatever gods are watching forgive us for what we're about to do." Echoes of victory. The Meridian Elite Guard emerged from quantum space like avenging angels, their ships even more advanced than the transformed command ship. Each vessel rippled with patterns of energy that seemed to mock the very concept of physical form. But humanity had planned for this moment, had known it would come to this. "Emergency protocol Omega activated," Sarah announced, her voice barely a whisper. "All Ghost Fleet vessels acknowledging final commands." Maya stood at her station, watching as the Elite Guard spread out in a formation that defied traditional tactics. They weren't just surrounding Earth's forces, they were creating a quantum cage that would trap them in normal space. "Project Lazarus at critical mass," Raj reported. "Emergency protocol Omega it is. Ready." The command center fell silent. Everyone knew what emergency protocol Omega meant. It wasn't just a weapon, it was a fundamental rewriting of local space-time itself. The Martian ruins hadn't just given them technology. They'd given them understanding of how reality could be unmade. "Your persistence is admirable," Vex Thor's voice echoed through the command center. "But the Elite Guard cannot be defeated. Surrender now, and we will ensure your species survives in some form." Maya's response was to activate a secure channel to the Ghost Fleet. "All ships, begin quantum synchronization. Prepare for total phase shift collapse." The Ghost Fleet's engines pulsed with energy as they aligned their quantum fields. The Project Lazarus satellites began to move, forming a complex geometric pattern around Earth. What they were about to attempt would either save humanity or become a warning to future civilizations. "Elite Guard vessels powering weapons," Sarah reported. "Their energy signatures. They're like nothing we've ever seen." The Elite Guard ships began to transform, their forms becoming even more abstract and powerful than the command ships. Space itself seemed to bend around them as they prepared to strike. Now, Maya ordered, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's future. Execute Emergency Protocol Omega. The Ghost Fleet and Project Lazarus activated simultaneously. But instead of attacking, they began to resonate at a quantum level that seemed to pierce the fabric of reality itself. The Martian ruins had taught them that the universe had rules even the most advanced civilizations had to follow, and how those rules could be changed. The elite guards' attack never came. Their weapons, designed to manipulate quantum states, found themselves unable to function as space itself refused to acknowledge their existence. The phase shift technology wasn't just hiding Earth's ships anymore. It was redefining what was possible. Quantum resonance cascade initiating, Raj announced, his voice filled with awe. The elite guard, they're being forced back into conventional space. The transformed Meridian vessels began to flicker and distort as their advanced technology fought against laws of physics that no longer applied. The quantum cage they had tried to create collapsed in on itself, trapping them instead. Impossible. Vexthor's voice cracked with disbelief. What have you done? We've changed the rules, Maya replied simply. Humanity didn't just prepare for your weapons. We prepared to rewrite reality itself. Final phase. All ships execute. The Ghost Fleet's quantum fields collapsed in perfect synchronization, creating a wave of distorted spacetime that swept through the Meridian forces. Ships that had seemed invincible moments before found themselves bound by laws of physics they couldn't comprehend or resist. The elite guard, their advanced technology now more hindrance than help, began to retreat. The command ship, still caught in the quantum trap, started to break apart as its impossible geometry failed under the new rules of space. They're withdrawing, Sarah reported, disbelief evident in her voice. The entire Meridian fleet. They're running. Maya watched as the tactical display showed the Meridian forces fleeing back into quantum space, those that still could. The victory had cost them dearly. Several Ghost Fleet ships had been lost, and the Project Lazarus satellites would never function again. But Earth had survived. Send a message to all human colonies and outposts, Maya ordered. Tell them that humanity just rewrote the rules of the galaxy. As the last Meridian ships disappeared, a new age began. Humanity had proven itself not just capable of defending against advanced civilizations, but of fundamentally changing how war itself was fought. The galaxy would never be the same. What do we do now? Sarah asked quietly. Maya looked out at the stars, where the quantum distortions were still slowly fading. Now we prepare for what comes next. Because you can be sure of one thing. The galaxy just learned that humanity isn't just another primitive species to be conquered. We're the species that changes the rules.